Good morning, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to the Rotary Club of All Nations. This is Carrie Johnson Walters, and I am going to introduce our speaker today. I'm going to begin with our four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I'm honored to present Ms. Georgia McEwan. She is an entrepreneur development advocate. She's a speaker, program developer, digital content designer, and a coach with over 25 years experience in the corporate training, development, and design space. Georgia is a lifetime learner who is deeply passionate with issues related to empowerment, inclusion, entrepreneurship, and the impact of systematic outcomes on social determinants of well-being and opportunity. Georgia's mantra is power up with knowledge. Information is a game changer. Call to action. Don't just talk about it. Listen, learn, organize, and do. It is my honor to introduce Ms. Georgia McEwan.
Hi, good morning. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I had to stop and think for a moment, who is she talking about? So that's great. Anyway, thank you all for inviting me, Mark. This is a great opportunity, and I appreciate you thinking of me and thinking that I could contribute to this awesome group, the Rotary Club of All Nations, and be a part of this conversation. And so one of the things I like to do is to try to dispel some of the myths and help dialogue and coaching along the way. So when we hear the term uncomfortable conversations, it always brings up the question of, well, gee, exactly what does that mean? And right now, during the climate, one of the first things we probably need to do is take into consideration perspective. And for whatever reason, this is not, okay, let's see. 1 second. Technology, Mark, you jinxed me. Technology is not working. It is not allowing my slides to move forward. Oh, there it is. It's very slow. That's interesting. So when we talk about perspective, what I mean is that currently with the ongoing public events, this is a conversation that we really can't ignore. We need to acknowledge that everyone lived experiences are different, and acknowledge that being uncomfortable really is a package deal of truth and honesty. During that current climate, and when we talk about current climate, we're talking about what's actually happening now. We've got a lot of things going on. You know, you have conversations about the pandemic, the health crisis, political unrest, quarantine, human rights crisis, financial crisis. And with having those things going on, we're definitely having conversations, or we should be having conversations on a daily basis, whether it's with our children, our family, our friends, and ourselves. I was listening to, I believe it was ABC yesterday, don't quote me, and the Cardinal was on, and so was Bishop Curry. And one of the things Bishop Curry said was that we should be interacting with each other or someone on a daily basis, whether it's through high tech, which would be through Zoom, like we're doing now, whether it's low tech, that would be texting, or whether it's no tech, which would be the phone. We should be interacting with each other on a daily basis. But when we're interacting with each other, we need to make sure that we are being inclusive and not excluding one. And so we need to be aware of things such as complicity, implicit or explicit, whether it's conscious or unconscious or microaggressions. We need to be aware of and recognize biases and advantages, because those are real things and they do exist. And so honest and transparent recognition really starts from within ourselves. And so we need to look at, how do we treat our peers and our friends? Do we treat everyone equally? What does our inner circle look like? Is everyone represented at the table? And what is the cost to play? Is it silence? And so exactly what is bias and what does it look like? Well, by definition, it's a preference in favor of or against a thing, person, or group. compared with another. It can be both negative and positive. And so why should I care? Well, it impacts everyone. If nothing else, COVID has demonstrated how we interconnect with each other. It clearly defines what our definition of essential workers are. And it shows the population greatly impacted and negatively impacted. And more importantly, the children are watching. They also have hidden lives, and they are impacted daily, and they don't necessarily always share. We are the teachers of coping and thriving. So uncomfortable conversation really starts within ourselves. It starts with you. You have to have an honest and transparent conversation with yourself. And so before you join, advocate, or protest, one of the things you may want to take into consideration is just asking yourself the 5 W's and H. And you might say, well, gee, what is that? Well, it's basic things that we've done on a daily basis, or we do on a daily basis. Just think basic writing experiences. You know, you ask yourself when you start a new genre, the who, the what, the why, the where, the how, and the when. And so once you ask yourself those questions and you can clearly define them, then you can start possibly thinking of engagement with others. And so don't join for political correctness, likes or popularity, or a flavor of the month issue. Join out of sincerity. Take time. Take time to pause, listen, learn, be intentional, and be present. And more importantly, you want to listen. Make sure you listen. Start a conversation or get engaged. The conversation might not be comfortable, might be uncomfortable, but you know what? That is okay. Uncomfortable mean that there is a muscle that we need to build, and there is something that's important that we need to understand. So we need to be open to question. The simple proverb, learn to listen and then speak to be understood, rings true. Genuine listening does take patience, and it does take effort, and you have to be intentional. So embrace the discomfort of not knowing. On our way to knowledge, we need to resign from a place of comfort and embrace the discomfort of not having all the answers. We don't know what we don't know. And so how do we find that? Well, we research and we relearn. Find out what we don't know and learn more and ask questions. Conversation should be about structure and not the individual, because people see things differently. We need to show respect for each other, and by doing that, maybe making some type of personal commitments. Such as my personal commitment is, I will always demonstrate compassion for others. I will always demonstrate empathy. And I value differences, and I respect privacy of people, and I maintain dignity. Truth versus truth. Statistical truth do not invalidate individual experiences. Individual experiences do not invalidate statistical truth. And action is required. Action is required of a multi-racial, multi-generational coalition of people working to imagine a world that does not exist, and then we have to create it. We are but one piece of the puzzle. And so we have to, if we are sincere, make sure that we are part of the conversation and make sure that we're on the right side of the conversation. Silence is complicit. And so being silent is not enough. Posting videos on social media is not enough. Donating is not enough. We can't do this without each other. We are in this together. So how do you show up? It really comes from within. We need to pause, listen, and we need to learn from each other. We need to acknowledge and recognize the need for change, reflection, but more importantly, we need to do the work, and we need to have those uncomfortable conversations. And as James Baldwin says, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Thank you.